Good afternoon. This is the Board of County Commissioners meeting. It is Tuesday, March 28th, 2022. It is 2:01 p.m. I'm Carolyn Namahia. I'm the chair of the board. To my right is Vice Chair Ty Menser. To my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards. Also in the boardroom is County Manager Ramiro Chavez, Assistant County Manager Robin Campbell, and our clerk of the board, Jamie Caldwell. We'll start our meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Commissioner Edwards.
Please join me in the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next, Commissioner Metzer, Vice Chair Metzer, would you like to do a land acknowledgement, sir?
Thank you. We would also like to start today with a land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Indigenous Salish peoples whose elders and ancestors have lived on and cared for the land and waterways of this county since time immemorial, and who still inhabit the area today, specifically the Squaxin Island, Chehalis, and Nisqually people, our sovereign tribal partners. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. The purpose of this acknowledgement is to disrupt ongoing erasure of injustices done and remember history as a stepping stone towards healing.
Thank you. Next is the approval of the Tuesday, March 28th agenda. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the proposed agenda for Tuesday, March 28th, 2023.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Metzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. The agenda is approved. We have a presentation today, and it's Child Abuse Prevention Month Proclamation. And I know Gretchen Fowler has joined us from Public Health and Social Services. So, Gretchen.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for having us. My name is Gretchen Toller. I work with Thurston County Public Health in the Maternal Child Health Division. And I'd first like to welcome Dr. Joyce Gilbert up to join me.
Hello, thank you very much for having me. I'm Dr. Joyce Gilbert. I'm the Medical Director of the Providence Abuse Intervention Center, and we serve children in the 5 counties of Thurston, Mason, Lewis, Grace Harbor, and Pacific counties. I am here to give just my 2-minute speech about child abuse prevention. Child abuse unfortunately occurs, and it occurs because we are stressed as a society and because children are not small adults. It's so very important that every child have a safe, nurturing, caring adult who understands their developmental age and stage and who supports them through each activity of growing up. The way we can provide the best for our children is to understand that every adult needs the support in our community to help them raise their children. And so the best thing we can do during Child Abuse Prevention and Child Abuse Awareness Month is improve our community responses to our needy families, to our parents, to our children. That would be my goal. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So unfortunately, the data for 2021 shows that for a 5th year in a row, Thurston County has a higher incidence of child abuse than the state average. We are not expecting that this will be better for 2022 because unfortunately we had a high number of children who lost their lives during that year to abuse. On the screen, are you able to show my PowerPoint? Just mostly want to get to the second one, Jamie, the picture of the brain. So you'll see a picture of a brain of a child who hasn't experienced abuse and one of a child that has. You can see the difference in the size. This is a result of flooding of stress hormones that impact the developing brain. The long-term effects that can happen as a result of this might include mental and physical health concerns, cognitive changes, so it might be harder for them in school or with a job in their future, and a greater risk for incarceration, substance abuse, and the impacts on their other relationships, maybe domestic violence or their own parenting later on. A couple weeks ago, we had a really good presentation on fentanyl to the Board of Health, and when I was watching it, I couldn't help but feel like we were missing just one piece when we looked at intervention and the judicial system, and that was the prevention side. And I just want to encourage you to think about child abuse prevention along with thinking about fentanyl prevention. It could be a big part of it. It doesn't mean that every person that has a substance use disorder, was abused as a child, but there's a higher incidence of that linkage. So, just looking at that brain, you can see that child abuse and experiencing it leaves a footprint on that person's life. So there's many things that we can do to build resiliency, and those are really important parts of this. But I just want to remind everyone that it leaves some scarring that's there. We're doing some great preventive efforts in Thurston County, but we must do more. One of the efforts in our county is we have strong partnerships. So Commissioner Mejia facilitates our Partners for Children, Youth, and Families group, and we've got a really active, committed group of community members that want to move child abuse prevention forward. With that, I'd like to also introduce Deputy Prosecuting Attorney Kaylin Cecil.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Kaylin Cecil, Senior Deputy Prosecuting Attorney. Wanted to thank you on behalf of our office for the proclamation that you're about to make today. And I wanted to share a little bit about the services that my office provides. We have a specialized team at the Thurston County Prosecutor's Office to handle child physical and sex abuse cases. That team consists of 2 deputy prosecutors, myself and Jessica Shen currently. We have a paralegal and a victim advocate. In 2022, we received 122 referred cases of child abuse. Those include both physical and sexual assault. We filed charges in 46 of those cases. In 17 cases, we decided not to plead or not to file any charges. We have 53 cases still pending review and about 15 cases that went into a resolution of some sort. And so as you can see, we still have many cases to review. Unfortunately, we are at the end of the case where prevention efforts have not succeeded, but now it's time to hold someone accountable. So I thought I would share a quick success story. As the commissioners are aware, we have had difficulty getting trials out during the pandemic. So I'm particularly proud of this success story from last year, where we were able to get a lengthy trial out. This case was State versus Adam Paris and was prosecuted by our Chief Deputy Prosecutor, Christy Peters, and Senior DPA, Olivia Zoe. Other members of the team included our victim advocate, Sherry Landon, and our paralegal, Alexis Coda. The case involved 2 stepdaughters who delayed disclosing sexual abuse that had occurred on the part of their stepfather. The reason I'm highlighting this case is in part because we went to trial and the defendant was convicted and sentenced to 24 years in prison. But more importantly, this case is a great example of a community coordinated response. These young children disclosed first to their pediatrician, who immediately reached out to Child Protective Services, who looped in law enforcement, who looped in Monarch Children's Justice Advocacy Center. So this really was a situation where the community networked together and provided a network of support to this family. Sometimes we think about child abuse, we think about the impact on the children, but it affects so many other members of the family as well. Their mother spoke at sentencing and talked about the fact that she was a single working mother of 4 children. And in 2 years, the 2 years that the case had been pending, she had taken her children to 768 appointments for counseling and occupational therapy. And that support was offered on behalf of the folks here, Monarch Children's Justice Advocacy Center and the medical community. I'm proud to be a part of this team. I'm hopeful that the numbers referred to our office will get smaller and smaller and smaller as the work by other folks, including Gretchen and her team, expand. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think that's it for us, other than just to let people know, in the coming weeks, you'll see many pinwheels around the community. Those are to remind us all to just take pause and think about child abuse awareness and prevention in our community. So you'll see it at the Capitol, Our team got them out in front of our public health department this morning, so hopefully we'll see more of those around town. Thank you very much for this proclamation.
Cool to see.
Commissioner Edwards, anything you'd like to?
have my blue on.
You do have your blue on.
I followed the directions. I guess if we care about the future of our community and our society in general, and Gretchen, you've heard me say this so many times over the years, but really, if you think about it, young people are 30% of our population, but they're 100% of our future. And I want to commend all of you folks out here today for all your hard work in trying to make our future as good as it can be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Mensah.
Just want to thank you for being here. This is not one that much needs to be said because you guys did a very good job of laying out the issue, and I think we're all aware of the importance and the challenges. I used to work in the criminal justice system, and I've had these situations in my own family, so this is a, very important proclamation. I'm glad we're able to have you here to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I guess I'll start with, I did a coffee with the commissioner. It comes out this Friday, and it's exactly about this. And I had Gretchen as well as Christy Peters from the prosecutor's office and Dr. Gilbert, who joined me in that coffee with the commissioner where we discussed child abuse prevention. And one of the things that I learned that Dr. Gilbert taught me was everyone really is a mandatory reporter. It's not just our pediatricians and our schools, but really everyone is, and how much it takes a village to really get these kids. And we saw the brain comparisons, which is pretty alarming. So I want to thank all of you for the work you do. I know after that coffee with the commissioner, it felt pretty heavy. It's such a heavy topic, and it really weighs on you. And so I know it weighs on all of you as well who have to encounter these cases on a daily basis. So just really thank you for all you do. Okay, I'm ready for a proclamation, sir.
Okay. Thurston County Proclamation for Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas children are the foundation for a prosperous and innovative society, and the foundation for a child's growth and development is established when every community takes responsibility for creating healthy environments where our children can thrive. And whereas Thurston County supports the strengthening families' protective factors that reduce abuse and neglect through promoting social connections, knowledge of parenting and child development, parental resilience, concrete supports in times of need, and the social and emotional competence of children. And whereas a child's early experience of being nurtured and bonded with consistent caring adults affect all aspects of behavior and development, and are associated with better academic grades, healthier choices, improved physical and mental health, positive peer interactions, and an increased ability to cope with stress. And whereas the number of child abuse victims in Thurston County continued to increase during the 2016 to 2021 time period, with over 2,316 reported victims annually. And in 2021, Thurston County's child abuse rate of 36.2 victims per 1,000 children was higher than the Washington State rate of 35.7 victims per 1,000 children. And whereas 19% of Thurston County adults experienced physical child abuse before turning 18, and by 8th grade, 35% of Thurston County youth have experienced psychological abuse. And whereas Thurston County recognizes it is the responsibility of every adult to protect children from all forms of adverse childhood experiences, including abuse and neglect, and recognizes the need for adults, organizations, schools, and communities to form protective barriers around children. And whereas effective child abuse prevention programs are essential and succeed because of community partnerships created among citizens, social service agencies, schools, businesses, law enforcement agencies, faith-based organizations, civic organizations, and other child-serving agencies. And whereas Friday, April 7th, 2023 is Go Blue Day, a day when everyone is encouraged to wear blue to build awareness about child abuse and neglect prevention, and to inspire change by focusing on community activities and public policies that prioritize prevention. Now therefore be it resolved, the Board of Thurston County Commissioners hereby proclaims April 2023 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Thurston County and urges all residents to actively participate in the care, well-being, and protection of our children. Adopted this 28th day of March, 2023.
Thank you. Picture.
Most important participant right here.
That's what I was saying. All right. There we go. I know it's tough. All right. 1, 2, 3, smile. Looking at you. All right. Nice. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. You're the only doctor here.
Thank you. That will conclude our presentation for today. Next is an opportunity for the public to address the board. The Board of Thurston County Commissioners welcomes comments from the public. However, there are some guidelines governing such comments to ensure they are appropriate and do not take advantage of the fact that most meetings are televised. The general speaking guidelines are as follows. Please introduce yourself, including the address you reside in the county. Please address the board, not the audience or staff. Please silence your cell phones for those members in the boardroom. Speakers are limited to a total of 4 minutes to address the board. Meeting attendees cannot donate their speaking time to another person. No comments that are lewd and offensive, inflammatory, hateful, defamatory, or discriminatory in nature. Please be respectful. No outbursts of any kind. No comments that are commercial in nature, such as promotion of a for-profit business. All materials provided to the county may be considered public records, subject to public release upon request pursuant to the Public Records Act, Chapter 4256 of the RCW. And no remarks about pending land use permits or similar matters that could eventually come before the board on appeal. Thank you so much for your cooperation. I don't have anyone on my sign-up sheet, but I'm wondering if there's anyone in the boardroom that would like to provide public testimony? No? Okay. Zoom?
Zoom, the only person that I have is Mr. Jesse Simmons. I'd like to provide testimony this afternoon.
No, sir, no comment from me. Thank you.
I will report testimony.
5 years in, it's the first time I think I've ever seen.
Okay. So we'll move on to county manager's update.
I don't have any specific updates for you, Commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We'll move on to consent items. There's items A, 3A through 3D. Is there an item that commissioners would like to remove from the consent agenda or have any questions about?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'm ready for a motion.
Move to approve consent items 3A through 3D.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. This is a non-debatable motion, so I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer? Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Consent agenda is approved. Moving on to department items, items from A, from the auditor's office, 4A, Approval of the voucher list.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for your consideration this afternoon is to approve the voucher list for the week of March 6th, 2023 for a combined amount of $1,287,080.98. This particular voucher list includes some expenditures related to the atrium tenant improvements.
Thank you. Are there any questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
Commissioner Menzer? Okay. Hearing no questions, I'm ready for a motion.
Move to approve the voucher list for the week of March 6, 2023 for a combined amount of $1,287,080.98.
I'll second the motion. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Nay.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Moving on to Central Services, item 5A, contract award for Fairgrounds Infrastructure Improvements, project number 25560. And Jason Ash, our Facility Service Manager, will report on this item.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Jason Nash. I'm here to ask for approval to move forward with the Fairgrounds Infrastructure Project, the first phase of it, Project 25560, to Mike McClung Incorporated. And I'm here if you have any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
Commissioner Menzer?
No.
Okay. I'm ready for a motion.
Move to approve a contract for Fairgrounds Infrastructure Improvements, Project 25560, to Mike McClung Construction Company in the amount of $142,788, and authorize the Assistant County Manager to execute the contract and amendments due to unforeseen conditions only that do not exceed 10%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Item 5B is request for qualifications for Progressive Design Build Services for the Thurston County infrastructure upgrades. And Thomas Stremke, our Capital Project Manager 2, will report on this item.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Tom Stremke, Capital Project Manager. We're requesting your approval to advertise a request for qualifications for Progressive Design Build Services, Thurston County infrastructure upgrades. A little background on the project. Last Thursday, we went through the state project review committee to get approval to move forward with this project.
Because it's an alternate delivery method. That was approved unanimously. So this is the next step in our process of acquiring a progressive design builder to take us to the next step. I'm here for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
Nope, there's been morning work sessions where the details of this have been explained, if folks are interested.
Thank you. Okay. I'm ready for a motion.
I move to authorize Assistant County Manager to advertise a request for qualifications for Progressive Design Build Services for the Thurston County infrastructure upgrades.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer? Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Moving on to the Commissioner's Office, item 6A is the 2023 Lodging Tax Award recommendations.
Hi, thank you, Madam Chair. Jenica Machado, Economic Development Manager. I'm here to request the board approve the 2023 Lodging Tax Award recommendation. A quick overview, the Lodging Tax Award Committee met twice in January and February of 2023 to review the 2023 Lodging Tax Award applications. The 2023 award cycle has $100,000 available to distribute to qualifying applicants. LTAC received 15 applications in total with over $200,000 in requested funds. LTAC has recommended a breakdown in the attached exhibit to distribute $100,000 to 14 applicants, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions?
No questions, thank you.
I think we've had 3 weeks worth of discussion on this matter, if anyone's interested. Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve the 2023 Lodging Tax Award recommendations from the Lodging Tax Award Committee.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer? Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Moving on to Community Planning and Economic Development, item 7A is to set a public hearing for Development Code Docket Item A-6 Shoreline Master Program Update.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Andrew DeFovis. I'm a Senior Planner with Community Planning. I'm here today to request that the Board set a public hearing to accept public comment on proposed updates to the Thurston County Shoreline Master Program Update, which includes both comprehensive and periodic elements required by state law. Thurston County is proposing these updates under the authority provided by RCW 9058-020 and as part of the periodic review process under RCW 9058-080, Section 4. After careful review, the Thurston County Planning Commission has put forth a recommendation on the SMP update, which includes regulations for development and redevelopment along shoreline subject to the Shoreline Management Act. Generally, these shorelines include Puget Sound, lakes and reservoirs 20 acres or larger, streams with a flow of more than 20 cubic feet per second, land within 200 feet of these water bodies, and critical areas lying within shoreline jurisdiction. The county's current SMP was adopted in 1990. Much has changed since its adoption, including comprehensive updates to the legally binding state guidelines in 2003 and periodic updates to state law over time. The proposed updates to the SMP will apply the most current, best available information that will balance growth and development, consistent with protections that prioritize health and safe shorelines for people, fish, and wildlife. The public is encouraged to contact staff with any questions about the SMP update and how it may affect their particular property or development plans. That concludes my remarks. I'm happy to take any questions if you have any.
Thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Edwards?
I think there's been a lot of questions asked about this particular topic over the last couple of years, so I'll forego questions for now until our public hearing.
Thank you. Questions? Commissioner Mentzer?
No questions. Happy to see this item move forward.
Okay, no questions from me. I'm ready for a motion.
Move to set a public hearing for May 16th, 2023 at 5 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter may be heard on Development Code Docket Item A6, Shoreline Master Program Update.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer? Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Okay, thank you. Moving on to item 7B is Thurston County Permitting Fee Study, Competitive Bidding Waiver.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Jeremy Davis with Thurston County Community Planning and Economic Development. And I'm also here on behalf of the Public Works Department and our Public Health and Social Services Department to request the board approve a waiver of competitive bidding and a contract with FCS Group for amount not to exceed $196,495 for the purpose of completing a permitting fee study for various types of land use permits and make a recommendation on updated fees which best meet the operational and capital needs of Thurston County. The current land use fees were established in 2008 to 2009 following several years of studies on cost for services. FCS Group previously performed work for Thurston County on permitting fees, including that previous fee study in 2009, and has a proven track record in assisting jurisdictions on developing these sorts of fee studies. Our generalized timeline for this fee study we'd immediately start work after pending board approval, of course. We'd have a draft report out in July to August of 2023 with initial board briefings following in September and October of this year with a final report due in November of this year, which should put us in time for final budget consideration in December. So we're hoping to meet this type timeline, and we're going to work very hard to do so in a transparent manner. Thurston County issued a request for proposals on this in September of last year, and we closed that RFP period in November, and we received no proposals, which is why we're asking for that waiver of competitive bidding. The Thurston County Internal Auditor did review that waiver and did recommend that it's okay to approve and that it meets county purchasing policy, state and federal laws for any purchasing. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions the board may have today.
Thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Edwards?
No questions at this time, thank you.
Commissioner Mentzer? Okay, no questions from me. I'm ready for a motion.
Move to waive competitive bidding requirements in accordance with the Thurston County Procurement Policy, Section A9, and approve award of the professional services contract with FCS Group for up to $196,495, and authorize the Community Planning and Economic Development Director to execute the contract and any amendments not to exceed 10%. 19 $19,649.50, or an aggregate of $216,144.50.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mensah? Commissioner Mejia?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Thank you. Okay. District Court, item 8A is Professional Services Contract Amendment, Substance Monitoring Program. And Frankie Peters, the Court Executive Officer, will report on this matter.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, County Commissioners, or actually afternoon now. Frankie Peters, Court Executive Officer for Thurston County District Court. District Court is seeking approval of the board to amend our current professional services contract with Friendship Diversion Services, increasing the amount for service from $500,000 to $575,000. That would be through the end of this year, December 31st, 2023. This amendment will allow for services for transdermal monitoring, urinalysis testing to extend to participants of our District Court Mental Health and Veterans Court. This opportunity allows for a single location and structure for our invoicing and payables, and it's utilizing an established and progressive means for data recording analysis, as well as cost savings for the collection and testing. This also provides for extended operating hours for sample collection, increasing rate of compliance for our participants, and further allowing participants to be successful with our program requirements. If there are any other questions, I'm happy to answer those, and I appreciate everyone's consideration.
Thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Edwards?
I don't know as I have any questions, but I would like to, just for the public, we've had many discussions on this, but this is one of the tools that we can utilize to alleviate jail overcrowding. And I'll just let it go at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Mensah?
No questions.
Okay, no comments from me either, no questions. I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve amendment number 1, professional services contract with Friendship Diversion Services that extends the services of the substance monitoring program to Mental Health and Veterans Court and increases the amount for service to $575,000, and authorize the Court Executive Officer of District Court to execute the amendment.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mensah?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Moving on to Public Health and Social Services, item 9A, amendment of 2022 through 2023, interlocal agreement with Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Administrative Services Organization for treatment sales tax funds.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Carrie Hennon, Treatment Sales Tax Program Manager, Public Health and Social Services. As you know, treatment sales tax is local funding for behavioral health treatment and supportive services, and I'm here today to ask your approval of an amendment to our interlocal agreement with the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Administrative Services Organization. This agreement provides funding for a wide range of different programs that serve adults and youth in the community, in the Thurston County Jail and at Thurston County Juvenile Detention. We have a 2-year agreement in place covering the years 2022, 2023. This amendment adds funding for 2023 consistent with the additional budget authority adopted by the board in the recent midterm adjustment to provide more funding for jail-based services, and it also adds funding for some intensive treatment services for youth.
Thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Edwards?
No, ma'am.
Commissioner Mensah? Okay, is there a motion?
Move to amend the interlocal agreement with the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Administrative Services Organization for a new total of $6,618,500. $2,908,278 in 2022, and $3,710,286 in 2023 in treatment sales tax funds for the period of January 1, 2022 to December 31, 2023, and authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the amendment and any amendments that do not, future amendments that do not exceed 10%.
Second.
It's Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Item 9B is treatment sales tax community grant contract extensions, and passing it right back to you, Carrie.
All right, thank you. Treatment sales tax has a number of community grant contracts with community-based agencies, again, funding a wide range of services. Currently, there are community grant contracts in the community that end in June of 2023 and some additional grants that end in December of 2023. The request before you today is to extend the contracts with community-based agencies that currently end in June 2023 and provide funding to sustain services through this entire calendar year. That will align all of the TST community grant contracts to end on December 31st, 2023. The contracts to be amended include a contract with the Community Action Council of Lewis Mason and Thurston counties for the Monarch program, a contract with Family Support Center of the South Sound for programming at Pear Blossom Place, and a contract with the YWCA of Olympia for the Youth Council program.
Thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Edwards?
No, ma'am.
Commissioner Mentzer? Okay.
Hold on, I do. Youth Council Program, can you say more about that?
Sure. So the YWCA works with other partners. They've worked with schools, they've worked with treatment agencies to provide kind of additional recovery support service programming to young people who have behavioral health needs. They do community building activities, pro-social activities, skill building activities with young people, again, referred by schools or other service providers.
The council part of Youth Council refers to what exactly?
It's kind of the name they're using for the community building aspect. It's not a decision-making body or kind of a formal entity. I'd be happy to get you a better program description of that in the future if you'd like.
Well, there's just different youth councils of different sorts, and I just wanted to make sure I had it straight what this was or what it wasn't.
Sure.
Because, like Lacey has a youth council. It's like a advisory committee to the city council. That didn't sound like what this would be about for treatment sales tax. I just hadn't heard of that specific program through YWCA, so thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I don't have any questions. Commissioner Mentzer, are you ready for a motion, sir?
Yep. I move to amend the following treatment sales tax community grant contracts. Extend contract with Community Action Council of Lewis Mason and Thurston counties to December 31, 2023 for a new total of $250,000. Extend contract with Family Support Center of South Sound through December 31, 2023 for a new total of $233,810. Extend contract with YWCA of Olympia through December 31, 2023 for a new total of $115,450. And authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the contracts and any amendments that do not change the dollar amount or duration by more than 10%.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Okay. Thank you. That will conclude our department items. Item 10A, Commissioners will report on board work sessions and assigned committee meetings, providing updates on actions taken as well as upcoming issues. Commissioner Edwards?
No updates on committee assignments and action taken. But I would mention that my phone never quits ringing, and land use, lake management district issues, fentanyl, and emergency room delays were the topic of the week. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Mentzer?
Meetings wise, I had Salmon Recovery Council on Thursday all day. That happened in Nisqually, which was nice to have it local. The Nisqually tribe hosted us and we got salmon, and that was pretty cool. Good meeting there. We had represented the Board of Clean Water Alliance at the Community Forum on Master Planning last night. The Chehalis Basin Partnership on Friday included a really good presentation on the Skookumchuck Dam and the analysis of what the options are. I've seen this presentation a few times, but they really dialed it in. It's really clear and easy to understand. Former county employee Nat Kale, who works for the Chehalis, Office of Chehalis Basin, gave that presentation and did a great job. Climate Action Steering Committee yesterday, we are going to break for 2 months and try to finalize the updated ILA. So this board should be seeing that right around May, mid-May. Other items, had a chance to speak at the Habitat for Humanity groundbreaking for the Talichin project in Tumwater. Got to see Commissioner Hutchings, which was nice, former Commissioner Hutchings, who is on the board, and lots of other elected officials, like such as Commissioner Mejia and the mayor of Tumwater. Spent time interviewing applicants for the Housing Authority Board and spent a lot of time working on protection of older forests on several different fronts. 4 counties are coordinating a response, Whatcom, Jefferson, Snohomish, and Thurston, and I've been representing just 4 commissioners, essentially, one from each of these counties, trying to sort of promote an item that's in front of the legislature in the Senate right now. That would be an $80 million allocation to purchase older forest land, protect it based on the emerging climate science and carbon sequestration and a whole bunch of other factors. Have a meeting tomorrow with local legislators on that. And I've had, a whole range of meetings related to that. There's, because the legislature is nearing the final, stage of session, there's a lot of flurry of activity, letters and phone calls and Zoom meetings, whatnot, seeing what we can get across the finish line. But there's 3 or 4 things still alive that would help us with Capitol State Forest and our older trees.
Thank you. I attended the Regional Housing Council meeting. Really nothing much to report on that. We're just kind of finalizing, reviewing the items, and the advisory committees are about to start meeting, which is great. I did the meet and greet with the new assistant county manager. He was here and he was introduced to staff. And so that was great too. It's exciting to get him to actually start on April for part-time and then May full-time, correct? I attended Pack Mountain. They had a meeting with the state auditor's office and kind of what their audit came back as, and it was pretty good. Attended partners meeting with Christina.
Unfortunately, I missed that meeting because I had to drive back from CTAC, and it was not a pleasant afternoon to drive back from CTAC.
I also attended the Legislative Steering Committee and just going through the different legislative bills that are still in the running, and then kind of trying to keep up to date on those. I attended on behalf of the board the open house for Kingdom Hall. Yeah, that was, they did a great job in putting their service hall back together. And I also attended the Habitat for Humanity event with Commissioner Menser, which, great speech, by the way. My phone has been blowing up for other matters completely different, but for me, it has been pop-ups and meat processing has been what I've been dealing with. So that was my week. Okay. Item 10B, the county manager will review the Board of County Commissioners' schedule for the week of March 28th, 2023.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me walk you through your combined schedule for this upcoming week. Where at least 2 commissioners will be present. You may have individual appointments on your individual calendars. Those will not be part of my report. Nothing for the remainder of today. Tomorrow, Wednesday, March 29th, 7:30 in the morning, you have been invited to participate in the Thurston Thrives Breakfast. That is going to be located on the Lacey Community Center at 6729 Pacific Avenue Southeast in Lacey. In the 9:15 in this room, you have the Timberline Regional Library Annual Update. Moving on to Thursday, March 30th. Nothing on your daily schedule. However, you have been invited to participate at 5:30 in the afternoon on the retirement reception for Ann Freeman Manzanares. She is the current Intercity Transit General Manager. Her last day, I believe, is on Thursday of this week. Friday, March 31st, at 2:30 in the afternoon, you have a briefing related to Uniform Guardianship Act funding briefing that's going to be provided by Superior Court. Monday, April 3rd, at noon, you have your standing Washington State Association of Counties briefing. And at 4 in the afternoon, you have been invited to the regular standing meeting of the House, Washington. Tuesday, April 4th, 9 in the morning, you have your regular agenda setting. And at 2 in the afternoon, your regular Board of County Commissioners meeting. And that will conclude my report.
Thank you. Commissioner Edwards.
I would ask my seatmates if they're going over to Ann's retirement at IT, just to let her know I'm on another detail up north on our insurance activities.
Thank you. Thank you for representing us on that too. Okay. Okay, so with that, it is 2:48. We are adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Wow.